Heyo! Welcome back to a mail call edition of John Opens Stuff. And the stuff, as usual, is magic cards. This time, it's cards I ordered for decks, and a few that I probably ordered just because I think they'll be worth more in a year or two than they are right now. So, I order a lot of things off tcgplayer.com, which is buying from individual shops as opposed to one giant company. But they're not the fastest because it's a lot of different humans involved. And whenever you involve humans, it screws everything up. And I've been traveling a good bit this month, so I don't remember what the hell I ordered. And I certainly don't remember where it came from. So I'm going to start opening packages and we'll walk through what I've got and what I'm doing with it. And at some points you may see my home address pop up on the screen. I'll try and make that not happen, but if it does, please don't show up on my doorstep and yell at me for people I've killed in books, because that's my job and that's creepy. Don't be creepy. All right, this is coming from the Cannoli Connection. Pretty good packaging. For the longest time, everything would get shipped in plastic top loaders, but during the pandemic, those became in very short supply, so people got creative. And one of the ways they got creative is folding up cardboard and taping them. Necrologia. 3 black. For an instant, play Necrologia only during your end of turn step. As an additional cost to play it, pay any amount of life. Draw cards equal to the life paid this way. This is obviously going in my Shieldred the Apocalypse deck, because in that deck, I gain 2 life for every card I draw. So I'll draw 10 cards. Pay 10 life, draw 10 cards, gain 20 life. So net gain of 10 cards and 10 life seems pretty amazing. This one comes from Bigger, Better Games. Well, I want the same game. I do want it better, but I just want the same magic. What do we got here? Lich's Mastery. This is also for aforementioned Shieldred deck. 3 black, which is why it's going in Shieldred, because that's a mono black deck. See, these are the top loaders that I was talking about that everything used to come in. I still have a couple hundred of those floating around the house. 3 black for a legendary enchantment with hexproof. That means your opponents can't screw with it. You can't lose the game. Whenever you gain life, draw that many cards. Whenever you lose life, for each 1 life you lost, exile a permanent you control or a card from your hand or graveyard. When Lich's Mastery leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. So the way I'm seeing this is on the battlefield. You draw your card for turn. You gain 2 life. You draw 2 more cards. You gain 4 life. You draw 2 more cards. Basically, as far as I understand it, you're going to draw your deck in kind of one shot with this deck. So you'd better be able to win. And there are plenty of ways to kill off a whole table in one shot. This order comes from Full Grip Games. One of the reasons I'm opening all of these off camera is because they have these nice packing slips which have all of my information on them. And y'all don't need to know where I live. It ain't that hard to figure out, but you've got better things to do with your time. At least I hope. Alrighty. Irenicus's Vile Duplication. Sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except the token has flying and isn't legendary if that creature is legendary. I don't know what deck this is supposed to go in, but it would probably go really well in Volo or in Miram. Well, apparently I thought that because I bought 2 of them. Triton Fortune Hunter. 2 and a blue for a 2/2 Merfolk Soldier with Heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Triton Fortune Hunter, draw a card. This is for my Ivy Gleeful Spell Thief deck, because every time I cast a spell that targets this guy, I draw a card. If Ivy's on the battlefield, I copy whatever I cast at this guy targeting Ivy. So that means that I can pile big-ass enchantments on him, and I'll get copies of those enchantments onto Ivy. Foreboding Fruit. 2 and a black for a sorcery. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Adamant, if at least 3 black mana was spent to cast this spell, create a food token. This is for Shieldred as well. Draw 2, lose 2, but in this case it's draw 2, gain 2, because I'll gain 4. So I'll have a net gain of 2. And Shielding Plaques. 2 Simic. This can be paid with either blue or green. For an enchantment aura, enchant creature. When Shielding Plaques enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature has hexproof. Yes, I know it has more words than that, but that's what that's been keyworded into. This is also for Ivy. So these 2 are for Ivy. That's probably for Miram, and that's probably for Volo, and that's for Shieldred. Yes, I know, I buy a lot of Magic cards. That's why I shoot these videos, to offset, hopefully, some of the expense of my Magic cards, because I have a problem. Also, these Magic cards, while expensive, are cheaper than tattoos, and they hurt less. Withering Boon. 1 and a black for an Interrupt. Interrupt is a spell type that doesn't exist anymore. So nowadays this will be errated to instant. Pay 3 life, counter target summon spell. Summon spell, that's been errated to counter target creature spell. So, I bought 2 of these just because it's a counter spell in black, and I like subverting the normal expectations. This one comes from Geek's Gambit. All right. Well, this is obviously also for that Ivy deck. This is a different type of top loader. I don't like these nearly as much, so I generally just throw them out when I get them. Storm Chaser Drake. 1 and a blue for a 2/1 flyer. Whenever it becomes the target of a spell you control, draw a card. So same as Triton Fortune Hunter. Clockwork Fox. 3 generic, artifact creature, Fox for a 3/2. When it leaves the battlefield, you draw 2 cards, and each opponent draws a card. Well, that's 100% for Shieldred, because when it dies, I'll draw 2 cards and gain 4 life, and each of my opponents will draw a card and lose 2 life. Apparently, I liked that card because I ordered 2. This one is from Dragon's Horde Collectibles. Well, made a mess out of that, didn't I? I guess we're probably not going to be trying to keep this top loader because it's covered with crap. I do recycle top loaders because every once in a while I do sell cards, and then I need something to send them with. Tamio's Safekeeping. 1 green for an instant. Target permanent you control gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. You gain 2 life. Again, Ivy. If I target my Storm Chaser Drake with this spell, this becomes indestructible, gains hexproof, and I gain 2 life and draw a card. Then I get to copy that spell onto Ivy, and Ivy will get hexproof and indestructible, and then I'll gain 2 more life. So that's pretty good. Foils of that card have gotten pretty expensive recently, since Ivy was released. This next package comes from Flower City Games. Ah, yes, this is all... I ordered a lot of crap for that Ivy deck. Huh. Maybe I should have waited till it all came in to actually put the deck together. Well, maybe now that I've got all this stuff in, the deck won't suck. Because, man, it's been rough. Spellwild, oof. 1 and a green. These Planar Chaos cards are sometimes hard to read, so you have to know where you're looking for your mana symbols. So you've got a 1 generic and a green up here. It's a 1/3 creature, oof. Spells that target Spellwild, oof. Cost 2 generic less to play. So, Ivy. I can cast a 3 mana spell targeting this guy, and it'll only cost me 1 because it's reduced by 2, and then I'll copy it onto Ivy, and I can do more stuff. Just a value engine. My Ivy deck currently isn't built to do anything stupid or incredibly powerful. It's just built to make a lot of stuff really big and fart around, beat people in the head. Well of Lost Dreams, 4 generic. For an artifact, whenever you gain life, you may pay X, where X is less than or equal to the amount of life gained. If you do, draw X cards. This is for Shieldred, where I will draw a ridiculous number of cards. So again, I draw a card every turn. With Shieldred on the battlefield, I gain 2 life. Then I can pay 2 mana, draw 2 more cards. Then I'll gain 4 life, and I can pay 4 more mana to draw 4 more cards and gain 8 life. It's not going to draw me my deck because it doesn't repeat. I have to activate it every time I'm drawing off it. Still can get you a bunch of cards. And let's face it, I would probably just pay 2 generic most turns to draw 2 extra cards. So that's going into, whatchamacallit, Shieldred. As is this, Peer into the Abyss. 4 black, black, black for a sorcery. Target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library and loses half their life. Round up each time. In Shieldred, this is a kill spell, because your opponents lose 2 life for every card they draw. You start with 40 life. So if you're, let's say you're halfway through the game, your opponents have probably got 60 or more cards left in their library. You're going to make them draw 30. Then they're going to lose 60 life. Then they're going to be dead. They'll actually be dead. Yeah, they'll be dead as soon as this resolves. They won't be able to, they won't have the cards in their hand before this resolves to try and do anything about it. This next package is from Big Max Magic. This is our last package of the day. Oh, this should be pretty. Except I can't get it out of the freaking packaging. Alrighty. Astral Dragon. I was right, this is pretty. I wanted a second one of these to have it in Miram, because right now I've got it as a finisher in Volo. It's 6 blue for a 4/4 flying dragon. But when it enters the battlefield, you make 2 tokens that are copies of target non-creature permanent, except they're 3/3 dragon creatures in addition to their other types, and they have flying. Even if this is, let's say it's late in the game and there's just been a board wipe. All the creatures are gone. All the artifacts are gone. Everything's gone except land. You have 9 land. Okay. You play this, And you don't just have one 4/4 flyer. You have 2 3/3 flyers. Turn your lands into flyers. And then you have a 4/4. This card's fantastic. It generally it ends games really quickly, especially in any deck that can blink their creatures or copy them, like Miram and Volo copy things. So that's what we got. This is a couple of weeks worth of orders. Yay, yay. And now I get to spend a good chunk of tomorrow rebuilding commander decks to utilize all the new stuff that came in, because I got new toys, so I need to use them. I don't need to, but you damn skip, you better believe I'm going to. Is that a perfect fit? Yeah, we'll leave that on there. Oh, perfect fits. There are multiple different kinds of sleeves you can use to protect your cards. I generally use these penny sleeves, these bigger sleeves, when I'm storing them. And I'll put, say I had 3 copies of Foreboding Fruit. I'll put all 3 of them in one penny sleeve, put them alphabetically in my black cards box. For cards that are more expensive, I put perfect fits on them. This is just a very tight sleeve that then, when you put a card in a perfect fit in a regular sleeve, you put the perfect fit on upside down, and then you put the card in the regular sleeve right side up, and you've made essentially an air and watertight shield for your sleeve. This is not going to help if you drop your card in the shitter. Not much will. But if some dipshit at your table spills a soda onto the table where you're playing Magic, before you beat their ever-loving ass, because seriously, Magic cards are expensive, and if you spill soda all over somebody's Magic cards, you deserve to have your ass beat. But you'll have a few seconds to sweep up your crap before everything gets ruined if you double sleeve your expensive stuff. Most vendors don't send cards in perfect fits. Also, I usually only put things in perfect fits if they cost more than $10. And I don't think any of these are more than $10. Astral Dragon's the closest, and I'm pretty sure it's maybe $5. So that is this week. That is me opening stuff, and till next time, peace. God, that was creepy. How about peace? No, that sounded lame. Just try not to suck, all right? Bye.